Today I'm going to show you how to play a really cool lick. It's a very long lick by Slash. It's actually probably my favorite moment of his. It's in the key of A minor and it's from the end of the Night Train solo. In order to be able to play this lick properly today, you are going to need a pair of designer sunglasses. I myself am going for a pair of Ray-Ban aviators, black frame with a blue graduated filter. Now, without the glasses on, it is really difficult to see any of the notes that Slash uses on the guitar. And it's almost impossible to see any positions of scales at all. I'll just give you an example of a Slash lick in A minor without the glasses. It's trying, but it's just not quite there. It's got overtones of Slash, but it's in the wrong key and it sounded quite bad. But if I bring the glasses down, immediately I can see and it makes a huge difference. So just take a second to mention that yes, Slash does tune to E flat almost 100% of the time, and Night Train is tuned to E flat. But for the sake of simplicity and learning this lick in the right position, I'm doing it in standard, so you don't have to go all the way down to E flat just to learn one lick. You learn it in the position of A in standard tuning. It will be in the same place when you tune down to E flat. So here's the first part of the lick slow. So I start with a power slide on the low E, kind of hit the open E, a little bit there if you want, or you could do a little pull off, like that. Then we're going to bend the 3rd fret of the low E, the note G, on the way to being a whole tone. Take it off and then slide into the 5th fret of the E, the note A. Then we hit the 3rd fret of the A and the 5th fret. We're then going to bend that 5th fret up, again, on the way to being a whole tone. At this moment, I like to do an open A. Again, that can be like a quick picked note or a pull off. Then we hit the 5th fret twice, and then the note C, 3rd fret. All the time, I've got this kind of light palm on here, and that's just making it all a bit tight, chuggy, and it's at the bottom of this build, this crescendo, and the higher it gets, the more it comes off and opens up. Here's the next part of the lick slow. We're going to slide into the 8th fret of the A, the note F, with our 2nd finger. And then you can hit it again with a little palm. Now we hit the 7th fret of the D, and then the 10th fret, index pinky. And then we're going to go to the 9th fret with our 3rd finger, hammer onto the 10, pull off, and then pull off back to the 7. Then we're going to put our pinky back down on the 10. We've got this kind of back and forth pattern now between the 10 and the 7 on the G. Then and then we do the same with the 9 on the G. Now we grab the 7 on the G and we hammer onto the 9 and the 10 with the 3rd and the pinky. And then slide that up a tone to the 12th fret, the note G. Next part of the lick goes like this. So it's kind of the same thing twice in a row, but the fingers just have to change slightly. So we start with a hammer-on pull-off on the 9th fret of the G to the 10, index, middle finger. Come down to the 12 on the D with the pinky, and then work your way back up those notes, 9, 10, 12. Then you're going to move up to the B string, and you do something very, very similar, but this time the hammer-on pull-off is index 3rd finger from 10 to 12, back to the 12 on the G, and then you're going to walk up 10, 12, 13, index 2nd, 3rd. I know that Slash predominantly uses index 2nd and 3rd fingers and only kind of goes to the pinky if he has to. Maybe stuff like that. Probably uses 3rd finger for that because he's a bit of an animal, isn't he? But I think with the smaller frets, that is a good moment to kind of change to index 2nd, 3rd. And for the others, the 4 fingers kind of makes sense, or at least it does to me. Here's the next part of the lick. So this is identical to what we did here, but in the higher octave. So we start on the 10th fret of the high E with the index finger, then go to the 13 on the B with the 3rd, then go to the 12 on the E, back to the 13, and then walk up the 10, 12, 13 on the high E. Now we have a very familiar Slash pattern. If you've played a lot of Slash's stuff, you will have come across this before. We're going to hammer on from the 12 to the 13, and then pull off to the 12 back to the 10. Then we hit the 12, and then we hammer on pull off from the 10 to the 12. Then we hit the 13 on the B, back to the 10 on the E. So the next thing we do is bend the 13th fret of the high E up a whole step, down, and then back up again. We're going to pick the note pre-bent and let it down, hit the 12 and the 13, and then we're going to do that kind of little Slash hammer on pull off lick again, and finish on the 12. So it's bend up and down, back up, pre-bend release, 12, 13, and then that little run. And the last part of the lick is this. So it starts with that 10, 13 again, and then that same hammer on pull off lick. But when we pull off to that 10, we're going to hammer back onto the 12, pull off to the 10, slide back to the 8 in one motion. I'm only picking once. And then when we get to the 8, we're going to hammer on to the 10, pull off back to the 8, and slide to the 7. So after we've slid back to the 7, continue in that same one picked note that we started on. We're actually going to hammer on to the 8, the 10 with the 2nd and the pinky, and then pull them off. So from here, then hit the 10 on the B with the pinky. Now we have a semitone bend, 7th fret of the high E, and then I just let it down. You could pick it twice, but I just like to pick it once and let it down. Then I hit it again as it's released. Last two notes, 10th fret of the B, the note A, you're going to hit that note twice, a little bit of vibrato. So that is my favourite Slash moment, a lick worthy of the Shades, a very long lick. I think it's one of his most kind of like creative flourishes. Starts way down low with a lot of attitude and aggression in the way that it's picked, and then it moves into this kind of legato ascending run before it kind of like peaks on the high E string with those big bends, and then that really kind of fast little legato pull-off slide lick. But the one thing that is constant throughout it is melody. Even when it's fast, it's still really cool, and it's still focused around melody. The other day, one of my students asked me, like, what's the fastest thing you can play? So I just played the 12th fret of the high E, tremolo picked as fast as I could, and they laughed. And then we went off on this rant, both of us, about how it's more important for both of us, not just me, to focus your lines around melody rather than speed. Because I feel like when you see a fast guitarist, you go, oh my God, that looked amazing. And then when you hear an incredible solo or an incredible melody, you're like, oh my God, that sounded amazing. And I'd rather someone tell me that I sound amazing than look amazing. I'm fortunate enough to look and sound amazing, but the looks is this, not the guitar. Although that does look amazing, actually. Anyway, I've been amazing, so I'm going. Peace. Stay calm. Don't stress out.